It's like, your house just burnt down. Yeah, tell me how you're feeling. Oh, man. Or there was just a hit and run and it was your son. Like, oh my gosh, soul crushing stories that, while I'm hearing and interviewing, tears are pouring down my own face. And I just got to thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You can pretty much usually tell how I'm feeling by the look on my face. And I feel my things pretty strongly, and sometimes I'm vocal about those things. If there's an injustice or if there's, something that's not right, I am at least wearing that emotion, if not saying it out loud. So it didn't turn out to be the place where I felt safe.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I Like Marketing. Today we are with another special guest, Kate Bass. Kate is powerhouse in leadership development. She is someone who brings authenticity, energy, and deep insight to every room she enters. Kate Bass is a sought after keynote speaker, consultant, and facilitator, helping leaders grow, connect, and create lasting impact. Known for her dynamic presence, practical wisdom, Kate doesn't just talk about leadership, she lives it, showing up with heart, strategy, and a first belief in what's possible. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and energized because Kate is here to help us go boldly into our day. And with this presentation, I actually want to hear from Kate, like, tell us more about you. Like, how did you get where you're now? Like, the energy you have now. Obviously, I know you are a believer, and that's like probably part of the story, but we want to hear from you, everyone. It's part of my follower. We want to hear the story behind who you are.
Yes, yes. Okay, so maybe it's easier if I start presently and move backwards. So currently, I am part of Bold Brave Me, which is a nonprofit where we are bringing believers together. You mentioned this dynamic of believers, which also is what brought us together. Have created this Christian entertainment network where we are bringing together uh, in one place under one umbrella all the things that you would want. It's very hard, I would say, and even as a mom of four boys, it's hard to find things that are appropriate for our family, even to watch media wise, to go to a comedy show or anything, it's off the table because there are so few, or I had thought, um, Christian entertainment spaces. So we're bringing singers and authors and coaches and comedians and all the things under one umbrella. We're really excited about it. We're planning a Christian cruise for the spring of 2027, but that's just a part of what I do. That's a really exciting and fun part that I'm looking forward to. I mentioned being a mom of 4 boys. They're 14, 12, 10, and 7, so you might imagine what my life is like right now. Just got everybody on the bus for a full day of school this morning for the first time a high schooler. So that's growing and morphing as, everybody's life is growing and morphing. We have 16 chickens in our backyard that are a source of food, but also our pets, our outdoor pets. I spend a lot of my time, most of my days, my work days are facilitating leadership and development training for different organizations. A lot of that is happening in a secular space, which there's great opportunity when you love what you do to just be a light to people, whether you're working with believers or not. It doesn't matter because you get to be who you are. You get to, be in front of that group of leaders, aspiring leaders, and share tales with them and tips and tricks with them that help them to develop in who they're aspiring to be and down the path that they're moving. So I'm loving that. I finally feel like at this stage in my life I am where I'm truly living out my calling. I am wholeheartedly part of the mission and in alignment. I guess that's, finally finding that alignment with the Lord where he's like, you have these gifts. You can use them to do this and this and this, and yay, because I actually love it. I love my job. I love what I do. I love speaking in front of people. I love no matter which audience, sharing a message, sharing authentically who I am to reach them at a level that, I think we don't always get to hear from people who are speaking and sharing and leading and training. So that's present day Kate. As we were getting ready to start today, I mentioned you mentioned, the weather and being in Florida, and I'm here in Pittsburgh, and it's sunny, but it's different. But I have had the experience of having lived in Florida, so I know and can relate to what you're talking about. I had a really fun experience. Did the Disney college program, for it was about, let's see, we went left to go down there in August, we came back in January, so it was about a semester of school, and you get to work. If you've done it, you get to work there, on Disney property, and then you have all the great perks of during your time off being able to go, swim in the resort swimming pools or go hop around the parks and ride the rides and go through all those Disney experiences. Not that you had a whole lot of time off because you're there during a very busy season. Halloween's really busy, the holidays are very busy. I don't actually know a time that Disney's not busy, but it was a great experience. I would really recommend that to anybody to go meet all the people who come together from all over the world, really. There were people from all over the world who came to work there and just learn about their languages and their cultures and their foods and have these conversations and be with them during the holidays to see what, Thanksgiving to me meant something very different than it meant to a lot of the new friends that I've made there. That was a really cool experience. Just all of that diversity in one place, in the most magical place on earth. Pretty fun.
How do you like that's I mean, that's more my curiosity, I would say at that point. It's like how do you even what is about this college experience with Disney? Like why Disney has something like that is connected to for them to find someone to work for them or like what exactly you learn through that?
So I think that for some, there were people who stayed and pursued, further jobs there and continued their education there. But I came back home with, just a new set of skills, having had that work experience, having even moved away from home for that time to somewhere, as a subset of the college experience, and doing all of that, and cross training in all of the responsibilities and understanding what it takes for a huge, for Disney to operate and what all those Disney principles are, which I do think are play a great role in real life, just being of service to people and coming alongside someone who looks lost, or just there are so many life skills that you glean from an experience like that. Not necessarily what I wanted to do or what I was going to school for. I was in school for broadcast journalism, and I came out of there and finished my degree, and I was in television news for roughly 10 years. But yeah, that wasn't, where the Lord wanted me to stay. That was a chapter, that was a season of my life, and that helped to, again, teach me a lot of skills that helped me segue into what I do now. So, this energy that translates through a screen is different, having had that experience in television news where that's how you convey your stories, right? So now I have this unique opportunity in this unique time that we are in, on coming after COVID and having lived, everybody living at home, working at home, and doing all the things at home, and having toilet paper ordered into your home, just it's a different, it was a perfect skill set for such a time as this.
Nice. Actually, like that's when I think about news, like I don't meet a lot of woman in news, even it's normal now. But like I mean, in the past was not something normal. It was really hard to change that. But like it's kind of interesting how because like news, one thing that for me one reason why I went away from news, like listen to news and everything, was because like it's always been political. Like no was news was not born to be political. News was born to be objective, like to show you what the fact was happening, and then with the time now has been bought by political parties, like or either you're left, you're right. Then like every time they give you news, it's always like change it or like a little bit told to you like with that kind of like leftist idea or like with rightist idea, like trying to and that's where something that know that you have been in news, like how, because obviously like as a believer, our political stand, it's God. It's, let's be honest. Yes, we can be a bit right, we can be a left. Obviously, we live on the world. We want to be like totally like, oh no. But if you look at the reality, none of them is 100% right. Like there are things that the leftists do that can be good, and there is things that the right side can do that can be good. But like both of them, they make mistakes. And how did you leave that when you were in the news? Because obviously, I believe that when you were in news, probably you had like maybe people telling you, like, "Hey, I need you to say in this way," or like trying to show you. They wanted you to show a specific part of that fact to make sure that you are more toward that political part or toward the other political party. And I was always curious, like, if you're a believer and you're like, okay, I know what is really truth. Jesus, the truth. Like how I'm gonna show this. How I'm gonna stand for that.
You can only control you. I've grown more in that wisdom the older I get. I would say that in the smaller markets where I worked, there was more of a push for an ethical presentation of the news. I was taught and always aspired to seek out both sides of the story. So we might hear that this happened, but then we have to go hear from the company itself that mandated that to happen and hear all of those different perspectives to bring a well-rounded story. I also was taught never to covering the politics, never to give anything away, not to wear a specific color on that day or a pin or anything that showed that you belonged to that you were partial to any particular side or any belief. And that did stick with me, and it wasn't a reason then. I was younger and less in tuned then to how I wanted to show up in those spaces. I just did the job, and it seemed so glamorous at the time, and such, all these dreams of doing this. Well, it turned out not to be. While I did my best ethically, easy for me to say, and I never felt particularly swayed to taint a spin on the news or show it one side or the other. I found that the dynamics just of being in the business itself, like inside of the station itself, where a lot of the things that were less in alignment with where I was going in my life fell. And I didn't want to stick a microphone in somebody's face at their worst moment in their life, like, your house just burnt down. Yeah, tell me how you're feeling. Oh, man. Or there was just a hit and run, and it was your son. Like, oh my gosh, soul crushing stories that, while I'm hearing and interviewing, tears are pouring down my own face, and I just got to thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You can pretty much usually tell how I'm feeling by the look on my face, and I feel my things pretty strongly, and sometimes I'm vocal about those things. If there's an injustice or if there's, something that's not right, I am at least wearing that emotion, if not saying it out loud. So it was, it just didn't turn out to be the place where I felt safe, I guess. And for a lot of different reasons, it just wasn't where, as we were starting a family and I was pregnant with our first when I left television news. And I don't look back. That's not one of the decisions in life where I'm like, "Man, I wish that had gone differently." No, that had been brewing inside of me for a long time, and there were reservations, even safety-wise, that my husband had for me in that field that, it just it was the next best step for our whole family to not be part of that anymore.
I see. Yeah, it's a lot of things are season. Like you were saying before, it teaches you something, give you like skills, it give you like training, and also like now you can say I'm kind of like I'm living without regrets because like I've tried, I, I that's where I wanted, I did it, I got to a point where I didn't feel like anymore to be there, It was not where I was supposed to be, and I left, but I left without um, no regrets, and also like knowing that okay, now this is where my next step is. And actually, now the question is like, what was your next steps? Because obviously we have you are still in the speaker industry. Like, I mean, you went away from the news speaking, but like you're obviously a speaker. You help a team with leadership. How that start? Like, what was inside of you, or even I would say like, what was like maybe God that something that God shows you, or like a moment that told you like this is where I'm supposed to go, and how that felt, obviously, because like people calls God calls people all the time, but it's not simple as people think. It's not just like, hey, I want you to be a speaker, and then tomorrow like someone calls you like, hey, come to speak for me. Like sometimes it's a process.
Yeah. I like that you brought that up because I think that as I'm going forward, I'm growing more in my realization that the alignment needs to be there for those doors to just open. Like you're saying, it can be that easy when you go back and you say, okay, Lord, I think I'm supposed to do this. I think you want me to do this. Let me pray about it. Let me listen for your voice. Let me listen for those moments, or let me help me show open those doors, close the ones that need closed, open the ones that need open, because it's not very clear for me and I'm struggling right now. And there were those moments of those conversations with God, like, I don't think you want me here anymore. I don't think that television is how I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to be the mom I want to be present with my children, because when you're out covering a double homicide, last day in television news, pregnant from morning till night, because you're covering the story from beginning to end, there's no promise of getting home to your family. There's no promise of dinner, as a family. There's no so I prayed, and there was a segue there where I worked in college admissions and had a great job with a great group of people. And then my husband's job moved us back to my hometown, which was wonderful because at that point we had two sons. And I was realizing the path that God was putting me on was needed, those he was allowing that door to open. It's time to go home. It's time to involve your family in this whole process. It does truly take a village, and I'm grateful to my family. But as I came home, my husband was worried about, what will you do? What job? What will you do? Where will you go? What will happen? What are you going to do next? And so I reached out. I had worked with an organization through college, and I reached back out, and within a day, she said, "Oh, of course. So you had this experience in TV, and I'm assuming you did some producer work there." I said, "I did." And she said, "Well, we have this role now, this virtual producer, where you would be behind the scenes making all of the technology and engagement possible during these virtual training sessions." And I said, "I would love to start there. That's great." I eventually, maybe when my kids are in school, would like to be on the other side of that as the trainer, the instructor, the facilitator. And she's like, "Yes, and we can get there. Let's start here." So I did. I had a job within, just a conversation a day, and to talk about God making things happen, that, opening that door pretty immediately. It was part of the plan, part of the path. So obviously I had two more sons. There was a big chunk of time where I was working behind the scenes and learning all of the content and connecting with all these clients. So lo and behold, who knew that would also be part of this puzzle that made it so easy for me to transition to being on this side of the camera and sharing all of that with all the clients I'd already built these relationships with. So now facilitating was the honest to goodness next step. And again, perfect alignment. And the Lord was like blessing it and sending it forth. And it just unfolded and has been amazing ever since. It has opened the door even for the keynoting opportunities and all of the other things. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. By the way, like having like four boys, that's a mission.
it's a mission, no doubt.
it's like It's like I have I mean, myself when I grow up, like my mom always say like whoever like marries you, you need to give a statue. Like I would make a statue for that woman because like the energy, like I always been like super active baby and everything. Like never really a problem, but like, my mom was always worried, like, is it gonna die somewhere
Oh
today?
my goodness.
I was like, and I was like, yeah, that's why my mom is the prayer warrior. Like she was like, you need to be saved. So God need to get kids are always fun. I was just like, actually today happened with I have a one son for now, like we have only one son, and fun things he was downstairs, and it's beautiful how boys they're like kind of interesting and somehow like I don't know, there is some type of fear they don't have. Like there is they have to try everything, and this morning was like just like a multiple events of things happening, but the last one was super funny because we were downstairs right with my wife too and her, and somehow a cockroach entered the house. And like, and fun fact, like I didn't even notice. Like I just hear one point like Sydney like of my wife taking my son and my son crying. And I was like, what's happening? And because like he literally got the cockroach, he went and showed to my wife, be like, hey, look, like how cute is this? Look my new pet. And my and my wife just got like scared because she got scared. Like my son got scared because obviously, like when they are young, they see what a mom does. Like they look at us to decide if this bad or it's good. No, and then he started to cry, and like, and for me, I was just laughing from the couch because like all the things of like, it's so amazing, like how he was totally not bothered by that roaches. Like he was like, oh, look, a roach, that's cute. Like let me grab this thing, like, let me see how to play with it. I'm like, that was the worst day for the roach, obviously too, because like literally got used by my son, like it was nothing. But yeah, that's why it's like for sure is a mission. I can see why you had to move back with the family because like um when we had him, like we just moved by ourselves in Florida, but we were in Colorado with my wife family, and yes, such a blessing. It's like it takes so much work. There is so much energy. I mean, it's my son. I knew that probably would come with a lot of energy. But yeah, he's like running, he want to dance, he want to do this. I'm like, oof, it's tiring. Now I understand also my mom.
Oh, you said something that made me think about the fearlessness of kids, how they will. I had to teach my boys, "Don't touch the bee. Don't they will sting you." Like, you have to it makes me think about how we teach fear,
Hmm. Yep.
sometimes out of necessity for safety, right? Like, don't touch the hot stove. Don't stick your hand in the campfire or your foot or any other body part. But we have to teach that. That's kinda crazy.
Yeah, yeah. To I mean, we are born with no fear. Like it's like my son, he goes out, whatever animal sees, he want to grab it, and he's fast. I'm amazed. Like he can, I'm like, whoa, this is like, how did you even grab that? Even roaches are fast. Like when they start to run, they can run, and he was like, he just grab it, like it just like nothing. It's like also I think because like there's this thing that they say animals that can feel like your emotions, like if
Yes,
you're afraid and everything. And
yes.
kids, they're like don't have emotion. Like for them, it's like when they get close to animals, they're like just like they're pure. Like they don't think about I hate this animal, I want to kill this animal. No. For them, it's like, oh, looks like interesting. What is this? And they just pick it. That's why I think they don't even notice the fact that there is like a kid around them that
That's
can
so true. Yeah.
campaign. But yeah, that's awesome. But let's connect to the fact you were saying. It's like when you move, like you have to move from one place to another. You have to make changes and everything. There is always they teach us when we are kids, like the fear, like not be stable. Like you have your parents. I mean, it's good, but at the same time, I think like also limit us because I don't know how it was for you news, but many times I hear people saying, and it happened to myself, is like you had such a stable job, you have such a great job, like why did you left? Like why did you decide to leave that place and everything? And see, that's like all a mental, like they bring fear inside of you, like, oh, what are you gonna do? And even like our partner sometimes, I mean, a bit with your husband, I think like he didn't man in that way, but it made you feel like did I made the wrong choice? Like now I have to. where I'm going and stuff like that. And it's hard, like how do you move forward? And that's where I think that's important part of God, like making sure like, okay, God, I've done the right thing. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that blind faith, I feel like a lot of the I have had that a lot of my life, and I feel very blessed because I see so much where people don't, where they're living in this past depressed state of how it could have been different, or this scared future, anxious perception, of where who I need to be and who I need to become by whose standards. We create this for our own selves, and there's this middle ground of just trust that I know we need to move. I know that's going to put me closer to my family. I know that you have a job. I know we now have a place to live. Everything else will fall into to place. The Lord will just bless whatever we're doing because we're doing what He's asking us to do. If we're not and we're working against Him, yeah, it becomes a lot harder. I've lived in that. I lived in that lane where I was going against the grain and I wasn't aligning the plan with God's wishes for my life and God's plan for my life. And yeah, He gives us that freedom to make those choices. And when we don't, oh, I guarantee you're feeling it. I guarantee you're feeling it because it's the only way that He can bring us back. I think people go like, "Oh, woe is me," and, "Oh, this tragedy or this illness or this disease or this whatever," and God's like, "Well, we coulda gone this way. You chose to do whatever these things are, and I need you to remember it's me. It's me. I will bring you back, but you have to remember where to go to get that help. You have to remember to go where to you have to seek me first."
Yeah. And a lot, as I say, a lot of it's created by fear. At the end of the day, it's like if you make a choice because of fear, most of the time it's not gonna end good. It's not gonna end well. It's like it might even create something at the beginning, but it can break something else. It's you were saying like even like we we always think that the blessing of the Lord or like the prosperity of the Lord comes through money or riches, like monetary things. But like it's not true. I've seen people that they're like they look so blessed when it comes money and life standing, they don't. Like their health is not the top, their family is not the best, like and even when I hear people say like I had to sacrifice all the time with my kids to get where I am, and I'm like, and do you really think it's the Lord? I mean, like, do you really choose the path that the Lord was putting? Because like I don't think the Lord wants that because, like, I mean, He wants to spend all the time with us. Like, all His goal is to spend time with His kids as a father. Why He would take you as a father and be like, hey, I want you to prioritize make money instead of like spend time with your own kids. Like I cannot see God doing that. Obviously, it's hard. It's like myself. I see like spending time with my kids. Decide to spend more time with my family means less time I'm working. Means like I'm maybe not going as fast as I could in my business or doing what I want, but I'm creating memory this morning memory. Like I can tell like when I behold to my grandkids and everything be like, you know what your dad did when he was like when he was 1.5? It's like it's funny memory, like and that's what you take with you until you die and everything. That's you take memories. Like money, yeah, well, you get to a point where you have money, you don't know even what to do with it anymore, because like you have sacrificed everything else and you don't have a family close to you anymore. You have kids that they don't really care much about you because like you have teach them that money is more important than family.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you very much. And I think that the standard that we keep trying to hold ourselves to, like you said, I could be going faster. By whose standards? Who said you had to go fast? Where did that, we create this, and I think social media makes it so much worse. We could see everybody else's polished version of how awesome they are from like 5 to 9 in the morning before they even do their 9 to 5. You see all these videos now and I'm like, I'm sleeping from 5 to 6 and then I get up and get my kids on, like that. It's none of those things. It's not a fancy coffee. It's not an awesome workout at a really expensive gym. It's very much real life and not any of those things. And that's okay. And I'm okay with it because I'm just doing like, even the idea I tell you, often I get weird looks everywhere we go just for the simple fact here's another like one of those expectation things or one of those like new normal kind of things. There I don't see a whole lot of people with 4 kids and people give me the, "Are they all yours?" I'm like, "Yes." "Oh, God bless you." I'm like, "He did abundantly. I intentionally my husband and I intentionally had 4 children. We did. I wanted 6, he wanted 2. We compromised at 4. This is what we feel very blessed. But it's just funny how other people's ideas of, "Oh, then you must not be doing the things you wanna do in life," or "You must not be very successful in your career," or "You must not be oh, that's probably why you got out of television news." No. I mean, it became so that I could be more present as the mom, but all of the toxicity that I was dealing with was not how I wanted to continue to live my life. That wasn't the place I wanted to stay before we even thought about having children. I knew that that was not the end game. That was not where the Lord was keeping me forever, and I was so thankful.
Yeah. No, and also like who tells what would be? Like, I mean, I forced myself to stay in a place where I didn't felt God there, and I ended up have pushed away by someone else. At the end of the day, and was much worse and looked so bad compared to if I would have just left. I ended up suffering through months to at the end be pushed out by that position anyway. And it's like because I hated that place and but I was like, oh, it's good. Like people want me there. Like it look like I'm earning good and I'm doing good. For who I'm doing this? Like let's be honest, for who? Like it's not that these people, the moment I decide to be there and something happened bad, they're gonna come and trying to help me seriously. Like pay for my stuff or like taking care of my kids or do no, they just want to have their own opinion because like they think they know better, but at the end of the day they don't like, and they made so many choices probably in their life. We look at their life, they made choice that they were so wrong, and they keep speaking anyway because like that's what how we are made as a human being. I mean, like even Jesus had to tell, it's like look at your how to say, like the strong in your eyes, like the
The log in your own eye. Yes. Yes.
instead of it, because like that's what other human being we are made. We're always looking for the other person, like, oh, why you, and we're trying to give like opinions and we're trying to tell them what be the right solution and everything when we haven't even lived that life. We have no experience about that and everything. Just because like we hear like, oh, that person is making this money, why you don't do that? The same things sometimes happen with why you are getting married now. Like when I got married, I just like was 1 year then moved to the US. No money. Because moving to US I had to give up my jobs, to give up so many things. And I moved with no money. And then I decided to get married here and we started everything from zero. Like me and my wife. Like we didn't have nothing. We had to start together. And it's like, why you get married now? Can you wait, like to make money? Or like why, and then after a year we decide to have a kid. And it's like, yeah, but like
You're building
it's
together.
yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, w- w- I have, I have this example of my parents. My parents they start with nothing, and they had the three of us, and none of us, none of me, my brother, my sister, we ever felt like we needed something or we wanted more. We actually enjoyed our life. Yeah, we could maybe had like something more expensive or like some fancy toys that. Sure, but apart from that, we had the food. They sent us to the school we wanted. When we needed a car, they bought the car. Like they did sacrifice and they gave everything, even if they start from zero. My wife, she's like one of 9 children. Yeah, and like same things. Like I spoke with them, my law. They started from nothing. They started from less than zero. And then it's like, and they built it like a family. They had 9 kids and everything, and everyone always told also to them like, and this is funny because it doesn't matter what. time you are in the world, like the question people ask is always the same. It's like, how are you gonna do it? I'm almost like, can you survive with 9 kids? Are you crazy? Like, why you even do it? And it's like, hey, first of all, God is the provider. But apart from that, like it's not so expensive to have 9 kids that people think you need to be millionaire to have 9 kids. I'm like, I don't know. You don't need to be millionaire. You just need to live like reality and don't think about like, oh yeah, like I want to buy a Ferrari today and then a Lamborghini next day. Then like you probably gonna make it. Like no, there's things. And then the question they ask you, like, yeah, I know we were speaking this morning with my wife. We're like some the things that people ask, like, is this your all? Are these kids from all the same father? Or stuff like that. And I'm
I
like,
get that one. Yes.
I was like, what people have? What problem do you have? Like, it's not your business. But
Number
apart from
1.
that, and number one, no, it's none of your business. And then like, what a question is a question that should not be asked. I don't know why people now go around. They watch too much Instagram. It's what you're saying. It's
I
true.
know. I
It's
know.
like, why you go around asking people like, oh, are them from the same father? I'm like,
One of them. Well, God bless you, and I think they don't mean it the way that I take it, but I'm like, "Thank you. I could use all the blessings, and I have been blessed." I that blessing right back to you. I
amen. Yes. No, that's
just send that blessing right back to them, like, I wish you understood the joy and the abundance that I have having 4 sons. I wish that you understood that. There is no greater gift than life. Like, that's the best way that I can make it make sense. I'll tell you a personal story. We were camping over the weekend, and my number 3 son, he was just bad attitude, grumpy. We were on a bike trail. He threw his bike down and he just disappeared on me and I couldn't find him anywhere. And I got really upset when he came back. While I was standing there looking around and screaming his name and trying to find him, I was like, "Oh wow, this is what God feels like. We just disappear on him. We're doing good. We're praying. We're coming to church or whatever that relationship with him looks like for you. You're doing great, and then you just disappear for a while." And he's like, "Where are you? Oh my gosh, are you okay? I can see that things are not okay." And he's like, it was such a moment of understanding. When my son came back, I started crying. I was like, "You don't understand what it's like to be a parent yet." And you don't realize how much I love you. Like, if something had happened to you, my whole life would be in shambles. I need to know you're safe. It's my job to keep you safe. And you just made it so much harder, and you made me so scared for a minute. And before bed that night, he came in and he was like, "I'm so sorry I made you cry." And I was like, "Oh, buddy, I just love you so much. I just love you so much. Like, it's already forgotten. I'm not worried that you made me cry. I was just worried that you were safe. That's all I care about." And how in parenting, we get to have those little moments of feeling what it probably feels like for God every second of every day with all of us.
with a lot more children.
Mm. A
Yes, it's
lot more
like
children.
a lot more children. Like we can get maybe 12 stuff. There are people that have 12 children, but like think about it, he has millions of them. He's like, ah,
That's a lot to keep track of.
yeah, exactly. No, it's like, yeah, it's true. Like once you become parents, you really start to understand how it is for God. Like a bit, like you understand. Please, you start to have like a little bit of like, whoa, this is what it looks like. This is like, and not like, and then you think like, wow, the amount of mercy and grace that God has. It's like I don't know if I would get it. And then you think about like, oh, look at what God was doing to Israel. Like throw them to this people. I'm like, you haven't had like a kid that's like it's really a mess because like it give you the feeling of want to spank him. Like I understand why God wants to do that. It's like what do you like? And the fact that he doesn't do anymore because Jesus got pretty much all the spanking from
Yes.
God.
Oh, I know, yes.
And for our place, that's a grace because like we really like if I would God and I would see myself from far away, probably I would have wanted to spank myself. Like I'm like, come on, guys, are you really doing this? What's going on? But yeah, no, that's a big thing. And one things that I wanted to ask you, obviously, like I wanted to how this plays in your new roles because we have spoken on your present right now. You are a speaker. You're working for this new podcast. It's a podcast, right? The
We're doing
Brave,
a podcast, yes. Bold, brave
yes,
believers, yes.
but Brave Believers, the podcast. And I want to hear like, okay, how I'm pretty sure all this experience as part of where you are now, what has built it, who you are now, and the things you do. And I want to know like, okay, what is that you speak about? You are a speaker. What is that you want to bring in the present when also in your leadership roles, like helping other leaders?
Mhm. So, in the ministry space, in the Christian space, where they want to hear that message, sometimes it's my testimony about being in all the wrong places at all the wrong times and what I learned that brought me to the Lord and doing what I'm doing now, and how there's hope. Because I think that that message, more of that message is what people need to hear. All of the messy crap that you've been through makes people go, "Oh, yeah, I did that too." You mean he'll forgive me? Oh, yeah. Yes. Not only will he forgive you, he will bless everything that you're doing moving forward once you've committed to doing it differently. And you remember to say good morning to him every day. But in other parts of what I do, well, I'll stay in that lane for a moment. Sometimes it's talking about, I like to talk and make it more mainstream for people to realize that we're in a battle. And I think a lot of people get scared to talk about evil and the devil and all the things, but we're very much it's a part of your life. Like I before the kids left to hop on the bus and start this school year, I blessed their backpacks. I blessed them. Like it's real. It's real. I want a hedge of protection around them always. And if you don't, I mean, it's no secret. We see the evil in this world. We know, we acknowledge what it is. To think that it's not after you is foolish. God I mean, Lucifer was an angel, right? God made him. So if you believe and if you see all the evil that is in this world, then you know God because God made him. God made him. He fell. That's his problem, right? But he didn't go away and he brought a bunch with him. So we have to talk about that and to help people better understand what that looks like and what that sounds like. That's not just that little, devil on your shoulder voice like we see in cartoons. That's very real. And to teach people about that, to recognize that and to listen that to differentiate between those voices, the if it produces fruit, it's from the Lord. And if it doesn't, well, keep praying. That's another big speaking point. I work with youth. I have a middle school youth group, so I like to talk about, bringing people back to the faith or meeting people where they are. That's a big thing. And then on the other side, in the secular world, it's, women in leadership or underrepresented voices, just anybody who's trying to rise and step into this. Here we are with labels and titles again. You might not have the title leader, but we're all leading. What kind of life are you leading? What kind of brand do you represent? How do you stay true to that in your values? And it's not me talking the same message, but there's parts of that message that are very much a part of you and who you are every day. So, I'm not saying that you're created, by God and sharing all of those fun details in the secular world, but there are undertones of all of that. And just being the light is part of the undertone of that message.
Right. Yep. Now that's thinking. It made me think about like it's harder than people think outside there. Like the smiles that we bring with us. It's because you have to smile. It's like like even God say we need to stay joyful. Like and joy is it's not happiness. Joy is something that you have to choose. Where happiness is something you feel. Totally different. But like we need community. We need people. We want to teach us, and the world want to teach us that it's better be alone. It's better, like care about yourself and just like be what you want to be instead of be like, hey, you need community. Hey, you need to find someone can understand you. And again, that's you prove that like we take often similar steps. Like if you look at the people around us, and I've spent time like listening to testimonials and everything, and more I listen to testimony, more I bring people, the more I'm thinking like a lot of you are similar. There's a lot of similar stories in this. It's not so unique how people think, like as and that's why like the power testimony God was talking about, it was like, hey, yes, your testimony can reach people, can put people together, can bring people together and can move mountains more than just be by yourself. Like you don't need to be perfect. The perfection is not what brings people together at the end of the day, like it's the imperfection. It's like okay. And for you to be open, I think that's what makes harder is like how can I be open about my mistakes? How I can show them, and leaders are big, they have hardest time to do that because they feel like, oh, I'm a leader. As a leader, I cannot show that I'm weak. And that's where we burn out because like we kept like showing the best part that it's everything cool. Don't worry, I'm supporting you with that. And then we need to find people we need, or we burn out, or we need to find a person like maybe with UK or like or things that we can tell them like, hey, actually, I'm not doing good. I'm really in a bad place right now.
Yes.
I
Yes.
need help.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the word. Like, it's how do you decide to enter? Like, did you met a person that told you like, hey, I connect with your story. I need your help, or like, what this made this decision for you to be like, I want to this be this connection point for these people. Like, I want to be that person can be standing there and listen to them.
I would say it was kind of like in praying about it wasn't a specific person, it was a message from God. It was for years now I have seen myself on a stage, but sitting on the end of it, delivering a message with my feet dangling from the stage, like at their level, connecting with them. So I know through that there's a gift that he's given me to meet people where they are. That's where they go, "Yeah, me too." And that feels a lot better to me than people going, "You're so great. You've got it all figured out." Because that's a lie.
Mhm.
That doesn't do anything for me. But you saying, "Yeah, me too," shows me that I reached your heart. That's a different place, and I wanna be there.
Awesome. Yeah, good. Um, before we are close to the end, and before we end, I would like you to leave a message to my listener, to the people that are watching this episode, because I always believe that episode, I trust God to make this popular, to make this viral, and to have people seeing this. And I know there are people, maybe even one person, but is gonna see this and it's gonna be like, I needed this message, and I want you to whatever has in your heart, wherever God has put in your heart, to share it with uh now with our listener.
Yeah. I had written this down, Psalm 139, verse 14. Just and I just wrote down short phrase because sometimes people talk about misquoting the Bible or not remembering what verse was where. It's okay. Remember this: you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Go live up to that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kay. Well, awesome speaking with you. I love all the story, all the steps, and some of the connection we were able to make through the thing. I really love it. I really enjoy talking with you. For everyone listening right now, I'm gonna her LinkedIn profile and her website is gonna be in the description in YouTube, and same things for Shopify or the podcast platform. Like this, you can connect with her. You can ask your question and listen to her, and like, and if you have connected through this video and you're like, there's I'm that position. I'm there where she is, and I need help. Go ahead, connect with her, speak with her. She's gonna accept your invitation on LinkedIn. She's gonna connect, no problem. And with that, I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to remind everyone to leave a like, to comment if this episode has touched your heart, or like there is something that is speaking to you. We want to hear from you, and in the comment. And again, Kate, thank you very much to be part of this podcast. Thank you very much for sharing your life with us and your experience. And I'm looking forward to have you another time in the podcast. Thank you again.
Thank you.